Hello and welcome to Yesterday's Airlines. In this video we're going to take a closer look at a new retailer exclusive made by Panda Models for a Thai model store. This lovely Thai VietJet Air Airbus A321 CEO HS Victor Kilo Mike. Now this is a model that I actually discovered a few months back and I wrote about at yesterdaysairlines.com back in March, because I'd love to keep an eye out for exclusive and unusual releases in 400 scale. And as you can see, it's being made for a CNX Model Store, and they saw this, that I posted about this, and they very kindly have sent me through this model. It's not something I asked for, but hey, I really appreciate the fact that they've sent that through. And it is a really interesting choice for a model. Thailand's got quite a bit of a history producing exclusive models for that market, and Panda Models themselves, who made this, they nowadays put a big chunk of their business into producing specific models for retailers or other brands in local marketplaces, which can make them hard to find, but nonetheless means aircraft that don't usually get made. So in this video we're going to take a closer look and give this model a review. Before I do that, don't forget to chuck a like on the video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Always really appreciate people that do. And if you like the look of this model, then I'd be remiss not to say to check out CNX Model Store. I'll put the link to their Facebook page in the description of this video. But thank you very much to them for sending me through this model. You know, when people do send me stuff for free, it feels only right that I give it a bit of a review and a bit of publicity at the channel. It seems only fair. So thank you very much to them. Also, I should point out that I do a weekly written review at yesterdaysairlines.com, and I've already reviewed this model in text form, so check that review out if you're interested. But I thought that I'd give this one a video review as well, might catch a slightly different audience. So got two reviews for the price of one this time round, a written review and a check out the actual model itself, which we'll do now. And as you can see, it comes in a very colourful box, nice purple colour, as befits the hybrid scheme that this VietJet Air A321 is wearing. Box is pretty standard, it's perfectly nice enough, but let's get on to the model itself. And we'll start by looking at the mould. This is the Panda Models A321 mould, which dates from 2018. It is clearly one of the best A321s on the market. It certainly knocks the socks off in comparison to the JC Wings Gemini mould or the Phoenix mould, both of which are pretty poor. And it looks very much more like the NG Models and HYJL Wings moulds. And one of the reasons for that, as you can see, is that it has the correct double slotted flaps that an A321 has, something which has historically been missing from the Phoenix mould, but they've got nowadays. It still misses from the Era Classics, but they look really good. And overall, there's nothing really wrong with this mould at all. Across the board, the mould looks almost picture perfect like an A321 CEO. So from the nose to the tail cone, I have to say that this is a really impressive mould, and it's gotten that way nowadays that 400 scale moulds can often look almost exactly like the real thing, as you can see here in this picture with a photograph of the real thing and a side-on shot of the model itself. The nose form and shape of the A321 here and the whole fuselage barrel, really very impressive. So there's nothing really which is standing out as a big issue with this A321. There's a couple of minor differences on the underside in comparison to the NG in terms of the stand placement, but that's not really a mould issue. You will see, however, that when you look from the front of the mould here, that the main gear undercarriage, you don't see quite through the bits, the struts there. That is an issue with the Panda mould. It's very, very minor. Broadly across the board, I would say that this is one of my favourite Airbus narrow body moulds in the scale. It's a really attractive Airbus A321, and I typically score this mould as a 10 out of 10. Now, when you're scoring 1 to 10, then it's not a lot of margin for error. You might give it a 9.5 perhaps. It does lack the small little protrusions on the main gear doors that the NG version has, but that's such a small thing that I don't think it's worth knocking on point for. I think this is a really delightful mould, and I'm happy to give this one a 10 out of 10 from the mould perspective. Now moving to looking at the livery replication here, and this is quite an unusual aircraft for the VietJet Air fleet, the Thai VietJet Air fleet, because obviously it's wearing a hybrid scheme, and that comes from the fact that it was delivered new in 2017 to WOW Air of Iceland, who then went bankrupt in 2019, and this aircraft passed to Thai VietJet Air, but has never been repainted in the full VietJet Air scheme, and instead has kept this WOW Air hybrid scheme, which basically keeps the entire WOW Air fuselage, including titles, and just has a decal slapped on the tail. And now the original decal that was put on this aircraft didn't actually fit the entire tail, and you can still see some of the some of the WOW logo underneath it, and also the winglets just had the original winglet pattern painted out. But in 2023 the aircraft was modified. It's got a slightly better fitting VietJet Air decal put on the vertical stabilizer, and both the winglets on the inside and outside have been painted up with the titles of the airline. Still looks very much like a WOW airplane though, and by 2024 the tail decal is looking pretty tired and is beginning to come off. So it's very much still a temporary scheme, and it's unusual that they haven't repainted it after having it in service now for much longer than WOW Air ever operated the aircraft. But it's still there and still going strong as of now. Looking at the model itself, I think that they've done a really good job here with the livery in general. The purple base colour for the WOW Air scheme is really very nice, and I don't have any major issues with that. As you can see, they've got the modern version of the livery on the aircraft, and the winglets here have been very nicely painted up with the VietJet Air titles on both sides, so that's nice and accurate as well and looks really good. And you can see that they're also on the engines. Moving to the rear, you've got the VietJet Air tail. It probably should still have a little bit of a purple leading edge, just a very small part, and that isn't present, so that's a minor error I would say, but nothing to write home about. Another minor issue with the livery is in the WOW Air side of things. The tail of the aircraft that makes up the O of WOW Air there is a little too thin and pointed on the model. As you can see, it should be a little bit chunkier. Not a massive thing. Another difference between the older scheme and the new one is the colour of these blocks underneath the doors, which I believe hold possibly the emergency chutes. They are now white, or at least the forward ones are white on the actual aircraft, and previously they were a darker colour. So that is not something I'm counting as an error. So we've just got the two little issues there, the front of the vertical stab not being purple, and that little bit of the upper portion of the tail in the middle of the O. Both very minor things, and things that I'm only going to dock a single point for because they're both very small. So I'll give it a 9 out of 10 when it comes to replication of the livery. When it comes to the printing and the quality control, General Panda are great. This model, however, did come with a bit of a loose starboard wing, as you can see here. Nothing too major, and there's no damage to the paint. Also, Panda do seem to struggle a little bit to get the engines fitted straight, and the left-hand engine on this model does point a little bit up in the sky. Only a very small amount, but it is there. So two minor issues when it comes to the quality side of things. I'm going to give the model an 8 out of 10 in relation to the quality control. And that gives us overall a score of 27 out of 30 for this model from Panda, which is a really nice addition to your Asian short-haul fleet. An airline that doesn't get a huge amount of love from most of the manufacturers, and especially in this unusual hybrid scheme, which is pretty interesting and unusual. So overall, I think this is an excellent model, and I'm really pleased to have received it and to be able to give it a look over here at the website and the YouTube channel. Thank you very much to CNX Model for sending it through, and get in contact with them if you would like yourself to get a copy of this lovely looking A321, because it is a really, really nice model, as most Panda releases are. Okay guys, well that's just a quick review of this new release from CNX Model Store. Don't forget to check out their link in the description here. Thank you very much for watching. I really appreciate that. And that's it for this video. I'll see you next time from Airbus Airlines. Goodbye.